Why did America under Trump impose so many tariffs on Cambodia? The United States' increasing use of tariffs on Cambodia, especially during and after Donald Trump's presidency, can be traced to a mix of political strategy, trade enforcement, and human rights concerns. While tariffs under Trump often reflected his America First economic stance, recent developments like the solar panel tariffs show how those policies continue to influence U.S.-Cambodia trade relations today. 1. Political leverage through trade. During Trump's administration, tariffs were not just economic tools, they were instruments of political pressure. Cambodia drew attention for cracking down on democratic institutions, silencing opposition parties, dismantling civil society and press freedoms. In response, the U.S. began reevaluating trade benefits, such as Cambodia's access to duty-free exports under the Generalized System of Preferences, GSP. Though not always headline-grabbing like tariffs on China, the loss or suspension of such privileges effectively raised tariffs on Cambodian goods, particularly in the textile and footwear sectors, which form the backbone of its export economy. 2. Solar tariffs and continued scrutiny. Fast forward to 2025, and Cambodia is again in the spotlight, this time in the U.S. solar trade war. A recent investigation by the U.S. Department of Commerce found that Chinese companies were using factories in Southeast Asia, including Cambodia, to avoid existing tariffs on solar products. As a result, Cambodia now faces one of the highest solar tariffs in U.S. history, up to 3,521%. This is due not only to suspected trade circumvention, but also because of non-cooperation with U.S. trade investigators. The move underscores how the U.S. is expanding its trade enforcement beyond major players like China to include smaller economies believed to be involved in global supply chain loopholes. 3. The bigger picture: trade policy with a message. Whether under Trump or the current administration, America's tariffs on Cambodia have a dual purpose: economic defense, protecting U.S. industries from unfair competition; political signaling, using trade tools to push for democratic values and labor rights abroad. In Cambodia's case, it's clear that the U.S. expects transparency, fair trade practices, and political reform. And when those expectations aren't met, tariffs become the penalty. Conclusion: tariffs on Cambodia began as a Trump-era pressure tactic tied to human rights and governance issues, but have evolved into part of a broader global trade enforcement strategy, especially in sectors like renewable energy. While the motivations may differ slightly between administrations, the message is clear: the U.S. is watching, and it's willing to use trade as a tool for both economic and ethical influence.